Alright, it should go without saying that we need to drain the fluid out of the transmission. You can see here I took half of the bolts out. The other bolts are just broke loose. We can let this thing drain slow. There's no need to drop all the fluid out of it at once. Trust me, it can make a huge mess. So while that's going on, I took the plastic covers off and the wheel well and on the front below the fascia, and then I marked the cradle at all 4 bolt locations so that way I can line this thing up when I put it back in. Next step is to get our ABS module on-bolted from the frame. We don't want to pull on our brake lines when we're dropping this thing down if we don't have to. Then we've got a power steering line that needs to get disconnected. There's a couple clips on this. The back one was too hard to get to. So you can see we're still leaking fluid at a nice. Here we got a couple more clips for the other power steering line. So once we've got all of our line clips disconnected, I'm going to drop this down a little bit further. I switched the bolts that I was using from the one side to the other just because the car wasn't sitting totally level, so it wanted to drain more out of that side of the pan. Now you see I went slow with it and didn't make a huge mess. So now that the pan was off, I put it back on and started going after the steering. I got the tie rod disconnected, 1 bolt on the rack and pinion and pried that up. Then we need to undo our mounts. So there was 2 bolts there, there was another mount in the front, and then I back up to the top. So I pulled off the shift cable. I had unhooked at this time the throttle linkages so that way they don't get pulled when we lower this cradle down. It puts a lot of stress on that stuff. So I've also unplugged the electrical connector for the ABS unit down there. The transmission is disconnected. You see there's also a ground connection here in the back that I've taken out. And now we're just going to push the harness off to the side so that way we don't pinch it at all when we drop the transmission down. So having the cradle all unbolted from one side at this point, I decided I'd better remove the fuel lines also. That way there's no stress on those. I don't want to potentially damage a fuel line. That could become quite a problem. Now that all that was disconnected, I began lowering the subframe down. The transmission is still kind of attached to it. I took off this trans mount. You see there was 2 nuts there and there was a nut from the back side. I lowered it down a little bit further here. The transmission, I should mention, is supported by a jack and the subframe is sitting on jack stands. Next step, we need to get this mount out of the way so we can get to this side cover. Now I really recommend these bottom Torx headed bolts, guys. Clean them out first. So I've seen quite a few people, and I've actually done it myself, strip these bolts out just trying to be in a hurry. So I take a little pick and then I flush them out with some brake clean, tap the socket in there with a hammer, and I've never had a problem. So now all of our side cover bolts are off. We're getting to the nitty gritty. Here's the inside of our transmission. So we want to make sure we pull that side cover out of there, pull this gasket. They say the gasket is reusable. I do not like to reuse them, especially on cars that have the mileage on it like this one does. It's over 100,000 miles. You can see it, that gasket has torn. It's worth replacing. You would hate to be here and not put a gasket in it and have a leak. So let's see what we got here for our solenoids. So you can see our pressure control solenoid is right there, along with our TCC solenoid. Now in order to get those solenoids out, we need to unclip this harness. The temperature sensor will clip off of the bottom, and then the harness will pull off of a clip on the pump, and we need to then disconnect the electrical connectors from the torque converter clutch solenoid and the pressure control solenoid, because those are the ones we're replacing today. Now I just use a simple pick to get into the retainer on this solenoid. They pull out fairly simply, as long as you don't poke yourself with the pick. It's just a U-shaped clip that holds that solenoid in there. So Here's my new solenoid taken out of the wrapper. I'm going to pull the old one out, match them up, make sure they are the same, which they are. I've already lubed the O-rings on the sensor with some trans fluid, so I stuffed it in there, put the clip in, and now we're pulling the pressure control solenoid. Same style clip we have there. Popping this pressure control solenoid out, and you will see that it has a indexing tab on it. So I point to it here. You need to make sure that when you install the new solenoid that you put the tab in the same spot. If it doesn't slide into that little aluminum channel there, it's not going to fit in all the way, and you're going to have a hard time getting your clip in. So wiggle it around, give it a good firm push, and then reinstall your clip. And this job is half done, guys. At this point, it's just putting it back together. So make sure that this harness gets routed properly. I've taken these transmissions apart before where somebody didn't put this clip in that I'm clipping on the pump right now, and they ended up pinching the harness in between the side cover and the oil pump there when they put it all back together. So my favorite tool for cleaning gaskets is a razor blade. It will scrape all of the gunk off, and it should not damage the aluminum case at all. So I also put an axle seal in this vehicle while I had it apart. Anytime I pull an axle on anything that's got 100,000 miles or more on it, I generally replace the seal also. And that area that I was cleaning is got a seal for the side cover, and we'll go through that too. My favorite way for getting axle seals out like this when I can get to them is a sharp chisel. Be careful not to hit the chisel into the aluminum. You only want to tap off the seal. So sometimes guys will damage them with seal pullers. You see there I had some GM red sealant. It's anaerobic sealer. I love that stuff for seal surfaces. You can see a little bit oozes out there when I hammer that seal in, and that's just a simple easy cleanup with a rag. Here is the old seal on the side cover that goes near that axle area, and here is my new one. I like to use a high tack. It's just a gasket sealant. It's almost like a glue. It's some real tacky stuff. Just paint a real light coat of it on here. Cover the gasket all the way around, and then put it into the side cover. Gently tap it in place a little bit. I actually did this and then I went and took a break, so if you can let it sit up for a little while, you're good. And now I'm torquing the side cover down, and yes, torque it to spec. I will try to post them up here. If this case does not get torqued to spec, it can break. So GM even published bulletins about it. So I've just always made sure that I've torqued this side cover down to spec. I've heard of a couple of guys telling me that they had actually broken one, so they decided they would torque them to spec after that. So once our case is on, we're ready to set the car back down onto the frame. At this point, I'm assuming that everybody can put together the stuff that they've taken apart for our electrical connectors. You see I've got my frame all lined up with all my marks before I tighten everything up. I'm replacing my cotter pins. Alright, at this point I topped this car off with 7 quarts of fluid, took it for a test drive. My code didn't come back, all my shift times were good. This car was ready to go. I hope you found this video helpful in getting this job done. If you did like the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. If you've got any questions, please post them up in the comments down below, and I will try to address them as quickly as I can. And if you want to watch some other videos, check out these ones on the side.